Caritas Development Organization, Hokadeo, is the official development arm of Hoima Catholic Diocese. Hoima Caritas Development Organization is located at Hoima Catholic Diocese Secretariat with branch offices in the districts of Kagadi, Masindi, and Kyangwali, Hoima District. Hokadeo's main pillars as per the strategic plan are institutional capacity development, adequate financing and resource sustainability, and thirdly, responsive programs and services. This documentary brings about Hokadeo's intervention in advocacy-related issues, especially in the areas of oil and gas, land rights, and human rights under an advocacy project called Right to Sustainable Livelihoods, RSL.
Hokadeo is a social economic development arm of Hoima Catholic Diocese, and we are mandated to spearhead all development work in the entire diocese of Hoima. Hoima Diocese is comprised of 7 districts, whereby we have Hoima, Masindi, Bulisa, Kibale, Kagadi, Kakumiro, and Kiryandongo. So our mandate cuts across the 7 districts of Hoima Diocese to make sure that we spear development work. The documentary you are about to watch is about a project called Right to Sustainable Livelihood. In brief, we call that RSL. And this is a project that has been running for a period of about 3 years in the 2 districts of Hoima Diocese, namely Hoima and Bulisa. Right to Sustainable Livelihoods Project has an overall goal that is to contribute to more secure livelihoods of rural poor farmers in the project area through increased civic competence and advocacy.
This project has 3 objectives. The first objective is to optimize positive impacts and minimize negative impacts of oil and gas exploration in Hoima Diocese by the end of 2018. The second objective is the smallholder farmers and their security of land tenure are guaranteed and protected by 2018. The third objective is to improve civic competence of communities in Hoima and Bulisa districts by the end of 2018. The project is implemented in 2 districts, Hoima and Bulisa. In Hoima, the project is implemented in 3 sub-counties, that is Kyangwali, Kaboya, and Buseruka. In Bulisa district, the project is implemented in 2 sub-counties, that is Ngwedo and Bulisa sub-counties. In Kimbugu parish, we work in Chabayanja village, Nyaigugu, and Kyabasara. Then in Kaseta parish, we have Nyansekere village, Ndongo village, and Chenjoju village. When we come to Buseruka sub-county, we are in 1 parish, that is Kabale parish, and 2 villages, that is Nyakasinini and Chigaga. In Bulisa district, like I said before, we are in 2 sub-counties, that is Bulisa sub-county and Ngwedo sub-county. And in Ngwedo sub-county, we operate in 3 villages, that is Kibambura, Ngwedo Center, and Uduktu. And in Bulisa district, we have 1 parish, that is Bugana parish, and this parish we have 2 villages, that is Katareba and Kichoke. Generally, that is the coverage of this project.
RSL has empowered communities to speak for themselves in case of any human rights violation. This has enabled communities to advocate for fair compensation. I am Barongo Eriab, Chairperson LC1 Nyaigugu Village. We know Hokadeo as an organization that advocates for human rights and empowers communities for good and sustainable livelihoods. Hokadeo was able to teach us human rights, showing us that we can even speak out when government has failed in the process of service delivery. We as leaders have learned this so well and have no fear each time we have to stand up for what is right. For example, there was an electricity company that came and destroyed people's property without prior information to us about its project work plan. Thankful that we had already received training by Hokadeo, we hired lawyers who summoned the electricity company, prompting it to start the process of compensation as soon as possible. We met the managers and they promised to pay all the affected persons, and in December last year, everyone was paid to zero balance. We achieved all this from the courage we received from the training of Hokadeo, which wasn't the case before because we had a lot of fear in us. The items that they destroyed include avocado trees, mango trees, jackfruit trees, banana plants, umbrella trees which gave us shade during our meetings, flowers in some people's compounds, and many different types of wood trees. There is a new project of road construction coming to our area. We are waiting for them to bring us the budget, and we shall complain if it's not satisfactory so we can be properly compensated. Hokadeo taught us on how to reduce land wrangles by opening boundaries and planting specific border plants, locally known as Misereor. I am thanking Hokadeo and all its trainers, and we are urging them to find us more things we can learn for the betterment of our community. Hokadeo has supported communities to open up land boundaries, and this has reduced land wrangles within the project operation areas. I am Kalisa Jovan from Kisaru, Kyabayanja LC1, a community researcher in Hokadeo. Hokadeo has helped us in many ways. For example, we had land wrangles, but it has taught us on how to plant specific boundary plants, locally known as Misereor, so that everyone can clearly know their boundaries. This has reduced the number of land wrangles in our community. Hokadeo also taught us on how to acquire certificates of customary land ownership. Even if government hasn't put this in motion, Hokadeo is still advocating for us. We are hopeful that everyone will receive this certificate. Hokadeo has also taught us about good household sanitation, which has improved over time. We are begging Hokadeo to also include an element of water in its programs, as it is a serious problem in our community. I am also asking Hokadeo to continue training more civic education groups so that they can acquire skills of training other people to easily lobby government to take action on the areas we are still doing bad, like water, roads, sanitation, and health, as we don't have any nearby health facility in our community. RSL has prepared the oil project affected persons to benefit from the oil project activities.
I am Abigaba Esther, a resident of Kitegwa. This is my birthplace. We have been self-employed, cultivating crops and rearing animals. After the discovery of oil in our region, our land was selected as a possible site for the construction of the crude oil refinery. Our land was taken, but before that, we were lucky enough to have had prior training about defending and fighting for our rights. Hokadeo taught us how to make our work plan so that in case government is starting up any project in our community, we are ready to plan on how to benefit from it and also be ready to stand for our rights in case the project tramples on us. Hokadeo linked us to our leaders who came and sat with us in a meeting to talk about issues going to affect us. The compensation process didn't go as expected, but Hokadeo trained people who kept in the community, doing sensitization on human rights and sustainable livelihoods.
Most of the people in my village they were worried because that when they see those big trucks that are passing around, for them they think that now they have taken our oil, whereby our main focus is now in the oil. Then we see that when those big trucks they are passing, people they may think that now our oil has gone now. Through this information, whereby these projects are brought to us now, people that have come to know that our oil is still there. We still need more from Okadeo. Since most of the activities are going to be happening at Ngwedo. The first activity is going to happen right now in Ngwedo. You have seen even the CPF, they are going to be building in Ngwedo. So people are not even, by the time they have started the process of building CPF, people have been started even worried. People are crying every day that the compensation rate is not fair, is not good. So they have been even asking government if they could even increase the amount where they are going to be compensated, which would be much better. That's why you see that the CPF, they are still delaying to start the work because they have not yet compensated the people. So people that have not agree with the payment. So I'm still pleading that if possible they should first consider those villages, because those are the only way. This is the only way where we do survive in this area. So I think with this, Okadeo also they have to work hand in hand together with the government so that they can make work to become easier.
RSL has empowered communities to engage local leaders in dialogues to discuss government service delivery issues. This intervention has helped local leaders to deliver services to their electorate.
I am Mbabazi Adda, a resident of Nyanseke. Okadeo has been teaching us a lot of things which have been of great use to us. Okadeo taught us about our rights in elective politics, which has cast out the fear in us and enabling some people to stand for leadership positions in our community. We have been living in fear, even when we have issues we want to present to our leaders with no idea of how and where to start for our voices to be heard. But Okadeo trained us, and now we know how to keep in touch and hold our leaders accountable. By the beginning of last year, we sat with our local leaders in our region with the help of Okadeo and discussed the problems we were facing. It's true that our health center called Kaseta Health Center 3 had no placenta pit, yet we have a school nearby. Kids would go and pick used gloves and other objects, which was exposing them to the risk of contracting HIV and other diseases. In that dialogue, we had the in charge of the health center local council chairpersons of our villages, Vincent Opio, our councillor, Namatovu Lovis, our female councillor, and Dan Muhaire, our member of parliament. We told them about the issue, and as I speak, we have the placenta pit in place already. We also had the problem of water, as all our boreholes had broken down. Through the dialogues by Okadeo, all boreholes were repaired and we now have clean water. We had a problem of a broken bridge connecting Undongo and Nyakaseke villages. That bridge is in a very sorry state, but when we talked to our leaders about the bridge, we were promised that it was going to be constructed. We had all along complained about this issue, knowing that the bridge had not been put in government program yet. Through this dialogue, we were told that the bridge was placed in the government program for construction, focusing on the issues to do with the oil pipeline. We have hope that even if our property was valued without knowing the compensation rates, the process will be successful with the help of Okadeo. I'm thankful to Okadeo for having stood with us and giving us knowledge. I'm urging my fellows who always miss the dialogues we hold to start attending so that we can always have ways of solving issues we have in our community.
RSL has sensitized communities on land rights, especially on land tenure systems that include customary land ownership, freehold, leasehold, and miloland. This has enabled community members to acquire knowledge that they have used to demarcate their own pieces of land in preparation for acquisition of certificates of land ownership.
We were taught about human rights and the rights we hold in our property, most especially land. We never knew how to demarcate our pieces of land, but we were trained by Okadeo, and as I speak now, all our land boundaries are well demarcated and there are no more land wrangles in our community. Okadeo has also been teaching us about acquisition of certificates of customary land titles. Unfortunately, we have had problems in our land board committee in our sub-county, which made this whole process unsuccessful.
Since Okadeo they come back on the ground, they train us how we can make a boundary with our colleagues. especially maybe once you want to demarcate your land, how you can be as a neighbor. So I think for now, those such kind of conflict are now in Funama, they are reducing.
RSL has sensitized communities on human rights. People have understood their rights, especially the right to vote, contest on any political position, to hold their leaders accountable, to own property, and participate in socio-economic development activities. I am Tumuranze Dominic from Kyangwali Sub-County in Hoima District. I am thanking Hokadeo for the work well done in our sub-county. Hokadeo has taught us human rights, our right to hold our leaders accountable, regardless of their position in government, the right to teach our fellow citizens, knowing the use of sleeping under mosquito nets, proper sanitation in our homes, knowing the use of having a pit latrine, and knowing the use of educating our children. We really thank Hokadeo for helping us know our rights and also learn how to keep in harmony with our neighbors by teaching us how to solve land wrangles without court intervention. Residents no longer rely on the courts of law. For all the work done in Kyangwali, we thank our trainers, Madam Helen, Judith, and Mr. Donozio. May God bless you.
Still with this project again as help us a lot on the issue concerning our right, whereby the first we get that people, they don't want even to vote. As Panasin or Kadio came to us, between us, they say that we should also have power whereby you can even contest. We can contest at any post, and we should also keep on reminding our leaders, those leaders which were being elected, they should come back on the ground. They ask for the challenge which we are facing on the ground. So all those has been done with the effort of Hokadeo.
RSL has engaged government in dialogue meetings to discuss issues affecting oil-affected persons in Hoima and Bulisa districts.
We have been working with Hokadeo, organizing dialogues with our leaders, our exploration companies like Sinok, Total, and Strategic Friends International, an organization that was responsible for the compensation of oil refinery project affected persons. These dialogues gave us a platform to make our concerns heard, which wasn't the case before. When time for signing for compensation money approached, we realized a lot of mistakes in the whole process, which prompted Hokadeo to call for a meeting with us and our leaders in Misereor. We realized that most women were not allowed to sign on the compensation money sheets, and many men would sign for the money and abandon their families. But through Hokadeo's intervention, the Ministry of Energy and Strategic Friends International allowed women to sign for compensation money, which was a great achievement and a result of the dialogues organized by Hokadeo. Hokadeo also advocated for the youths who had been denied cash compensation and were forcefully being relocated. This was achieved through a dialogue we had with the Ministry of Energy and Strategic Friends International at Hoima Hotel, owned by Hokadeo. Some people were forced to sign for compensation even without any idea of what they were doing, as we were agreeing about the whole process prior to Hokadeo's intervention. After receiving training from Hokadeo and having multiple dialogues, we were given a chance to know how much our property was valued before we could sign for the money. We are now educated and can fight for ourselves in case any other project of this kind comes up. There are 2 old women whose rights were violated. 93 households signed for relocation, but only 46 were going to be built, leaving out the other homes, which included the 2 old women. The compensation companies said they were too old and were not fit for a cash compensation. They were promised to be relocated and also acquire these houses, which was not put into practice. Hokadeo organized a dialogue with the Ministry of Energy, our leaders, and Strategic Friends International, which made the relocation of these 2 old women a success. Hokadeo has taught us a lot indeed. I'm very sure that those people who are relocated have enough skills to keep their households running. We were taught how to make backyard gardens, grow vegetables and grains for proper nutrition for our families. We also learned to properly demarcate our land to keep peace and harmony in our community. I'm thanking Hokadeo for the training it gave us. That has been an eye-opener. We are even benefiting financially through planting and selling orange sweet potatoes.
I am Happy Kiomia from Kichoke village. I am a community action researcher in Hokadeo. We have benefited a lot since this project started. This project has helped us to organize various workshops, especially in Hoima, where we would meet at Kolping Hotel with government officials from the Ministry of Energy, Bunyoro members of parliament, and district local council leaders to discuss issues concerning oil in our region. They taught us how the oil project will be run, the current issues on table about the project, so we can get back and sensitize our communities about the current issues concerning the project. These workshops have benefited us a lot by providing updates concerning the entire oil project, which wasn't the case before Hokadeo's intervention. We used to see heavy trucks passing by our villages, and we would sometimes think it was the oil being taken. But through these meetings organized by Hokadeo, all such misconceptions were cleared. This project has funded radio talk shows we have always held that have given us platform to educate even the hard-to-reach areas in our community about home hygiene, human rights, leadership, and elective politics, among others. This project has also taught us about household income, urging us to start up income-generating activities like farming, empowering us with financial literacy, like for example, how someone should use compensation money. We had a chance to learn about oil in Nigeria, how people misused compensation money, which escalated the levels of poverty in their communities. This is why we get back to our villages to teach people on how to use this money. Compensation money has to benefit the entire family, not an individual. It is not right for a man to sign for the money and then use it individually. I am thanking the Executive Director, Father Joseph Birungi. May God bless him. I'm also thanking our trainers, Kugonza Donozio, Nyanjura Helen, and Katusime Judith for the good work they have done in this project.
On behalf of Hoima-Caritas and also on behalf of COSA, I would like to appreciate the positive response from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development for having honored our request, which really was not presented long ago. This was about 2 weeks back when we wrote to the Permanent Secretary of the State Ministry requesting that, if possible, last week, or this week, actually yesterday, we could have some representatives from the ministry to come here to update us on current information to do with the oil and gas exploration here in Hoima.
RSL has empowered communities to start up their own income-generating projects, including farming groups and saving and credit groups. The project has also empowered communities to establish local markets that have been taken over by government.
I'm called Opa Moses, the chairperson L1 of Chewasara, and I'm a member of Okadeo. Through the sensitization of Okadeo to ask the leaders and the community, we suggested to mobilize the group and the community to sit down and make a use getting of a market, and we made it. The market started under the community through the assistance of Okadeo, which he educated us in it. So far, after that, the market, we ran it for 2 years on the community side, and lastly, we released it to the government hand. And in this market of Kisaro, people used to bring commodities, and the sellers, they are doing well. and those who are bringing it, they are also getting money. These are all done by the Okadeo. According to our seeing is that Okadeo has done a lot in the area, so it has tried to develop the area through us, the leaders, to go deeply down and educate our community. The day of the market is during the Fridays, not all the Fridays, after 2 weeks. On Friday, it is the time where people go to the market. And it also assists the company of tea, Misereor, which is in Kisaro. The company workers also do come get assistance from the market, and that's the use of the market which we have seen. And also government collects revenue from the market, and that's also a development to the area.
RSL has sensitized parents on the importance of educating children. As a result, the enrollment of pupils in schools, especially in the project operation areas, has increased.
Okadeo has sensitized the community or the parents, and the parents, they have sent their children to the school, and also they do follow the performance of the children at the school, and they found that pupils are trying to do well, and from there they also keep organizing some meetings, mostly at first the management meeting, secondly the PTA meeting, so that those are all trying to bring up the way how they can try to perform, the pupils can perform better for their lives at the school. For example, I'm the PTA treasurer at St. Peter Saro Primary School. So the performance of last year at the Saro St. Peter School, we had got 2 first grades, and most of the pupils, they passed in 2nd grade and the 3rd grade. So that has made us a good example, so that will make us to wake up and continue sensitizations and continue with some meetings of PTA and management for the coming year.
I am Misereor, a teacher at Misereor Primary School. Let me also take this opportunity to thank Okadeo for the support it has been rendering to the school and Misereor as a community, for encouraging the parents and the community at large to educate the children, most especially the girl child, because when you look at the enrollment at Misereor Primary School, the enrollment for girls is bigger than the enrollment for boys. And indeed, they have been doing so, and they are good since they encourage their young ones to come to school on a daily basis, and the support they give them, including books, mathematical sets, and the other activities, packing them food. So I like to also thank the parents for the support they have rendered to their children, and they continue asking Okadeo company or department to continue to sensitize the community and its members on issues as far as education is concerned. I'm thanking Okadeo for the support which it has given in the area.
This project has been implemented in partnership with other stakeholders.
I'm Namataka Florence, the Community Development Officer attached to Kawe Sub-County. I've been working with Okadeo, Caritas on this project. It's unfortunate that it's coming to an end. The project is right to sustainable livelihood. They have been doing work of advocacy. They have been engaging us and the communities in work to do with livelihood, health issues, advocating for land titles. This project has been helping people to open up land boundaries in preparation for receiving customary land certificates, which has been halted as of now. But perhaps by the time it is lifted, everyone will be ready, as in where they have been working, that is Kaseta and Kimbo. Advocacy is done. For example, in Kaseta one time, where we had a community dialogue organized by Okadeo under this project. And yeah, so many things came up in that. Among the results, one was the construction of a placenta pit, waste pit that was constructed because of the efforts put across the place. And then we have a lot of other activities done in the sub-county. Personally, as a CDO, I would like to appreciate Okadeo for the activities they have engaged the community. Actually, they are good partners in the book. For example, here they have helped the communities that have been affected by the oil and the gas activities. We can talk of the coming pipeline, whereby they have encouraged people to make groups and valued that skill of saving. I'm sure when the PAPs get money, at least they have gotten some financial literacy whereby they will be able to handle their monies well and not misuse their money. I would like to thank Okadeo for specifically this project in Kavoya. As of now, they are working in Kaseta and Chimbugu, but it is my request that when they do return, that's if they do, of course I'm hoping for that, they do spread to the other parts of the sub-county for other people to benefit as well.
My name is Livelihoods. I am the LC3 chairperson for Bulisa sub-county in the Bulisa district. I would like to give my thanks to Okadeo for interventions they have done in my sub-county. They have dealt with the land rights, especially dealing with the women. We have had dialogue with solve a conflict between the cattle farm, the cattle keepers and the livestock and the agricultural farmers. We have also had with them issues to do with the environmental conservation. Traditionally, women never owned land in Bulisa here because land was owned according to the clans. Now you get a woman from clan X comes to clan B. When she divorces, since the land belongs to a clan and she's not a member of that clan, they were not benefiting. But through this sensation by Okadeo, women are realizing that they can even own property. Property being land being a part of it also. Here in Bulisa, the tenure system is customary. But with customary, there are some people also who have individual land holdings. Now, through this program of Okadeo, we have been able to now to sensitize people to know, to make boundaries, so that people know this is where I end and this is where I begin. So that because now we are entering in the oil production, there will be issue of compensation, and it becomes difficult to compensate when we do not know where you begin and where you end. So that program is on, and people are beginning to pick to understand what is involved in that program. We still need more of these programs from Okadeo and the other development partners, because as this is an oil area, there are many interests, people with a lot of interest who want to come here and grab land. But the only way to safeguard us is that if somebody knows where the land ends and where the land stops, it becomes even easier for her or for him to process a land title. Yeah, those of you who have been to Bulisa, you know how scant the vegetation is. Now, with the intervention of Okadeo, we are encouraging every stakeholder to contribute in the environmental development plan, to see that we have an environmental development plan and to see how we can implement it, beginning at a household level up to sub-county level. And also ask the oil companies when they are laying their pipes to ensure that the trees which have been destroyed are replaced, so that we don't have too much effect of oil exploration spoiling our environment. This has been done, and with the help of Okadeo, and people are beginning to see some sense in this planning. But of course, this asks for implementation to ensure that what our planned is put in practice at both levels, and even as local government, like Bulisa Sub-County local government, we are trying to implement the Forest and Tree Planting Act, which reduces on the impact of destruction of the environment. Okadeo has helped families, individuals, and groups to make land demarcations, so that people can know this is where I begin, this is where I end, so that in the future it can be easy for them to acquire certificates of customer ownership. Because the other where you can go to have a certificate of titles is slightly more expensive. We wanted to begin with the certificates of customer ownership, so that everybody knows that this is my land of so many acres, these are my neighbors, and we are very thankful for Okadeo for having started that project. However, not all people have done it, but we are still insisting that for the benefit of everybody to know the boundary, and it would be better for everybody to embrace this program, so that we know where your land is and the size of your land, so that in the future it also reduces on land conflict. Because when you are making these boundaries, the neighbors must be there around to say this is where you pass. And every time we have been telling people that where there is a conflict, let's use the method of win-win position, where you can give away and where you can lose on this side. The use of win-win policy has worked a lot to solve some of these land conflicts. However, I have some recommendations and the way forward. One is I recommend the good work which is being done by Okadeo. But however, we need to expand that the whole of this district is covered by all these programs. I would like also to request Okadeo. One of the things I've seen is that many people do not know the roles of a citizen. I would wish that, whereas we have talked many things on rights, human rights, but I think also one program should come in. What's the role of a citizen as put in the Constitution of Uganda? This will be one of the ways, because sometimes many people have been looking at government without saying what's the role. How do I help government so that the government can help me? I would like to thank Okadeo, first of all, for the good work they are doing in my sub-county, and also to be inviting us. They have been inviting us in the review meetings. I thank them for having, because that's when we also put in our input. But otherwise, as a sub-county, I pledge full support to all the programs of Hokadeo.
Much as we have implemented these activities, we still have some work to do, especially in advocacy areas. For example, there are people who opted for relocation due to oil refinery project, but were not given houses. These people have been relocated, yes, but of course they don't have houses, and there is a need for us to lobby for them such that they can also be given houses. Because when you look at the status today, really these people are living in poor conditions. Some are living in grass-thatched houses, others where they have built some permanent houses but they are not enough. So such kind of people need our intervention. There is a need to engage different stakeholders, including the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, the district leadership, and others to ensure that these people have been given houses. However, this calls for financial support.
I'm called Emanzi Christopher, and I'm the projects officer of Hoima-Caritas Development Organization, and I do resource mobilization for synchronization. I also do monitoring and evaluation functions. I am proud to be associated with the good work and achievements that RSL as a project, that is the Right Sustainable Livelihoods Project, has managed to achieve over a period of time. For advocacy work, it's always more of qualitative results, where you're just looking at changing, for example, civic competence, change in service provision, change in all related areas that I've been advocating for through this program, through this project for the last couple of years. Hokadeo has not worked alone. It has worked with other civil society organizations in the Misereor sub-region. And to mention, we realized that we needed to be more coordinated. We needed a platform where we can address our issues to do the advocacy. And during that time, we thought of a platform that would unite all the civil society organizations. We came up with a coalition, a Misereor coalition on oil and sustainable livelihoods, that's PUCOSA. And this coalition brings all civil society organizations in this region together, especially those which are working on oil or social related issues that directly link with oil. We have about 20 registered members in the coalition that are active, and we usually meet on a quarterly basis to share the challenges, the achievements, and then also synergizing work plans to ensure that we don't have duplication of work. If you know the principles of advocacy, you know that advocacy is done in numbers. So this coalition has helped us a lot to reach out even to greater heights, to reach out to bigger numbers, to reach out in heights. I mean, for example, above offices that are not even here in Hoima. You find that we have NGOs that are operating on nationwide, and they can approach these officers, for example, in Kampala, and bring them on board. For example, if you want information sharing, for example, from the Ministry of Energy. So the coalition has been a great deal in this project, and we are still carrying it on forward. And we want to even see how we can strengthen it to ensure that at least we have more organizations coming on board, but also coming on board with value. So over a period of time, Hokadeo has been engaged in advocacy for human rights, and especially looking at property rights. And here we've been looking at compensation of project affected persons, especially the oil and gas. And we looked at the affected persons in the oil refinery region, that is Kabale Parish, as you might have already heard. But what we are most proud of is that we've managed to at least advocate for the people to get what is duly for them. And in the process, we've had at least, as per government reports, 95% of the people already compensated. Now, for the remaining 5%, it's still a hurdle that we're still going with, and we want to work with government, want to cooperate with them, but also making sure that we have soft advocacy towards them to make sure that at least they look into compensating the remaining households. And definitely going into the production phase, it's going to be a challenge. Government wants to acquire a lot of land where they are going to put approximately 1,445 kilometers of pipeline. This will be in two countries, that is Tanzania and then also Uganda. The biggest chunk of the pipeline will be in Tanzania. But for our part in Uganda, we need to do things different. We don't want to repeat the same mistakes that we did during the project, during the acquisition of land for the refinery. This time around, we want to look at timely, adequate, and fair compensation. But of all, timely should be at the forefront, because much as people were compensated, compensation was not in time. People lost property, people lost food, people lost connection with fellow relatives as people were compensated at different times. So we want to make sure that women were not involved in the whole process. We want to do things different this time around. We're already working in different networks, including COSA, to ensure that at least some of these mistakes are not being repeated. The RSL team is doing a great job, and we are very sure that at least with this phase, immediately when the project affected persons are revealed for the pipeline, we'll immediately begin to work with them to ensure that at least they're empowered, and then also that their property valuations are being reviewed, because we understand that a lot of property has already been valued, but we don't know who's affected. So after knowing the people who are actually affected and the displays are made, we'll push at least for review of where the compensations are not really fair, and then also engage government, and then also to make sure that at least this compensation comes in timely. There has been campaigns by government officials to ensure that at least there is amendment of Article 26 of the Constitution of Uganda to ensure that government acquires land before compensating the actually affected persons. This is a civil society organization as Hoima and RSL, Right Sustainable Livelihoods, where we want at least to see how we can negotiate with government not to amend this article, because in a way, when land is taken away, yet is a source of livelihoods, and people are not compensated, then that pushes the people in absolute poverty, and then also it might also bring conflict. And we all know that oil-rich regions are really characterized by conflict, especially here in Africa. So we want to engage government not to amend that article. Land is a source of livelihood, and then as per the Constitution of Uganda, currently it says land should be taken after adequate, fair, and timely compensation. So that's what we want to do. As the project's office, together working with the Right Sustainable Livelihoods team, Adenozio, Helen, and Judith, and then also the management, we really thank you, the stakeholders that we've been able to work with, and COSA, the local government, and the rest, for the support that we're being given. We can't say all the achievements that you have been able to see in this documentary are all on our honors. No, we know we're working with different entities, so we are grateful for sure. And then also government, we thank them for conducive environment. And then at times listening to us, definitely when we have grievances, when we feel like we're not being given enough space, government in the past has listened to us, and we have been on a round table and discussed some of these issues. So we thank you everyone for watching, but also most important, let's be able to uphold human rights, and then also make sure that at least people are civically empowered to make decisions that will affect change, positive change in their lives. Thank you so much.
By way of activities, the project has some main activities, and these are research, advocacy, and training. Along the way, we have definitely registered some achievements in this project and in the project area. To mention but a few, Hokadeo, along with Bukosa, has established an information access and a feedback mechanism with oil companies, as well as the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development through dialogues. Secondly, 46 households out of 73 refinery project affected persons who opted to be reallocated were able to get their houses due to the dialogues that were organized by Hokadeo together with Bukosa. 3, wrangles between cattle keepers and the refinery affected people were resolved because Hokadeo and Bukosa were so much engaged, or they were so much behind dialogues, including the local government, the different stakeholders of the districts where we operate, but more so in Bulisa district. And finally, communities have been empowered to strongly talk about issues affecting them, especially issues to do with government service delivery. By this we mean that the people have been empowered to articulate freely issues that affecting them. And this has been due to our intervention. Much as we have registered good achievements during the project phase, we also realize that we have had some challenges. For example, as we tried to negotiate with contractors of different contracts within the oil and the gas industry, local content has been a challenge to date, and this is something that still needs to be pursued. And another challenge we can talk about is that we have not ably succeeded to convince relevant authorities in getting customary land certificates from government. This is still pending, and we look at it as a crucial need for the communities where we have been working, and therefore needing further intervention. And we have this in our future plans. I would like to register my appreciation and the appreciation of the entire organization to begin with, to the donors, Misereor donors in Germany, who have been behind the funding of this project of RSL. We appreciate very much for their financial input. And secondly, we appreciate the efforts of Bukosa Coalition, without which probably we wouldn't have achieved what we have. They have been very instrumental as a loose network, and we treasure their combining efforts with Hokadeo. I also have to appreciate the efforts of Hokadeo staff. They have done a great deal of work, and it is really a good job done. I would like to appreciate our research assistants, whom we have been linking with closely, giving us information, which information has been very useful for us. The beneficiaries also have played a big role in the success of this project. They have cooperated and collaborated very much with us, and we appreciate their involvement. Together, I have to say, we have made some impact in the livelihoods of the people, much as they are pending challenges we see ahead of us.